This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good afternoon, Rabbi. As we prepare for Parshas Vayeishev, Haba Aleinu L'Taiva, the pasuk says in this week's Haftarah, it's a pasuk in Sefer Amos, Kaya Amar Hashem. So says the Lord, Al Shloisha Pishay Yisrael. There are 3 sins of the Jewish people, maybe I could overlook. V'al Arba'a, but for the 4th one, Lo Yashivenu. Could I not respond to that one? What's the 4th sin? Al Michram Ba'Kesef Tzaddik. They sold for money the tzaddik. Who's the tzaddik? Yosef. By the way, this is the only time in Tanakh Yosef is called a tzaddik. Ve'ev yoin, and this poor man, ba'avur na'aloyim, for a pair of shoes. The pasuk seems to be saying that even though in the Chumash we don't have this information, all we have is they sold Yosef for 20 silver pieces. The Navi's saying, and what did they do with those 20 silver pieces? They bought shoes.
Cheap shoes.
We'll see. And this idea that Yosef was sold for a pair of shoes is also mentioned in the piyut of Eila Ezkara, the Asara Haruge Malchus, where we have Gava Lev Bigdoilim. The Roman general was haughty with these Asara Haruge Malchus, V'tziva Lamales Plateroi Na'alim. He commanded to fill up his palace with shoes. V'kara la'asara chachamim gedolim. He called 10 great sages, Mevine Das, who understood knowledge, Uta'amel b'filpulim, and their reasons with the dialectal arguments. Dinu mishpat zel ashur. He commanded them, judge this case completely to its truth. V'al tivasuhu b'chazav la'amray. Do not pervert it in falsehood. Please bring out the truth of the matter. What's the halacha? If a man kidnaps his brother and sells him. Now this is obviously a whole ploy. This is a whole scam, the play where he fills up his palace with shoes. They answered, the Torah says that if you kidnap someone and sell them, you're liable to capital punishment. So he asked, he said, why? What happened to your forefathers? They sold their brother to Arab merchants, and for a pair of shoes they gave him.
How did they know? He'd know that because of shoe business.
What? It's a pasuk in Amos. The atem kablu din shemayim lechem, and therefore he says you have to accept upon yourself the halacha of the Torah. So again, this idea is mentioned in the piyut that Yosef HaTzadik was sold for a pair of shoes. And the question is, ma pitom? What happened suddenly that the Shvatim needed shoes? What, they were working barefoot? Why they have to buy shoes? Of all things, after they sold Yosef, why they have to buy a pair of shoes? This is the question of Rav Zalman Sorotzkin in the Oznayim L'Torah. A few years ago, I was passing by somebody, they needed help schlepping something. So I reluctantly schlepped what they asked me. And then they said, okay, you know what? Here, I'll give you a gift. So he gave me a set of, no, not shoes. He gave me a set of the Oznayim L'Torah. And I opened up the Oznayim L'Torah. And in the Oznayim L'Torah was a handwritten letter from Rav Zalman Sorotzkin.
Whoa!
So I asked the person, am I allowed to keep whatever I find in the Sefer? He said, whatever you find, you found money in it, it's all you could keep it. I said, what if I found a handwritten letter from Rav Zalman Sorotzkin? He said, it's all yours. I have at home a handwritten letter from Rav Zalman Sorotzkin. When he sent this edition, when people write Sfarim, what do? You mail it to people with an envelope. Right? That's what you do. Yeah. So I got the letter.
When was it written?
I have to look.
You send the check?
Well,
No, he didn't get
no, he didn't send it to me. So okay, but that's the question. The question is, why Vasepis, the brothers of all things bought a pair of shoes for the money that they sold Yosef. Now, if you look in the Pirkei de Rabbi Elazar, Pirkei Rabbi Elazar gives us some more details. We know the pasuk says they sold Yosef for how many silver pieces? 20. Says the Pirkei Rabbi Elazar, well, how many Shvatim were involved? 10. Each one got 2 coins, and that means each one bought a pair of shoes for 2 silver coins. Says the Pirkei Rabbi Elazar, Kol echad v'yechad natal shnei ksafim. Each one took 2 coins. Liknois minolim b'ragleim, to buy shoes for their feet.
That's pretty expensive shoes.
Right? Shenemar al michram ma'kesav tzadik ve'evim b'avanah. So now Rav Zalman Sorotzkin asks again.
Is it cheap or expensive? I don't know.
It's a good price. I think it's a good, solid, good price for a pair of shoes. I don't know how much shoes cost back then. I don't know how much silver was. I'm not here to comment on the value, not of the money back then, nor of the shoes. I'm just. Rabbi said, I don't know what size shoe it was, what brand shoes it was, whether it was orthopedic shoes. I'm just telling you, it was 20 silver coins. Let's stick. You're at 20 silver coins, but I always thought they bought maybe 1 pair of shoes. The Pirkei Rabbi Elazar says they bought 10 pair of shoes. Wow. Each one paid 2 silver coins for a pair of shoes. Asked Rav Zalman Sorotzkin.
You needed 12 pairs.
There were only 9 Shvatim involved in the sale. Ruvain was not there that day. Ruvain had to be busy with his father. So you had Shimon, Levi, Yehuda, Yisachar, Zevulun, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher. Yosef was the one being sold, and Binyamin was too young. So, in that case, why did the shoes cost 20 silver coins? It should have only cost 18 silver coins. I mean, we're Jews, we want to save money over here. Why 20 silver coins? What's the and the Pirkei Elazar says, Kol echad v'echad natal shnei ksafim liknos menomen. Now the question then is, did Reuven know about the Mechiras Yosef? Well, look for number 6 for a moment. From here it's mashma, the Radar of David Loria points out that Reuven also knew about it, and he also got a pair of shoes.
He wasn't there.
But the Zohar says that Reuven did not know about the sale of Yosef, and he didn't realize about it until Yosef revealed to the brothers.
He didn't know about it because he went to the pit trying to get him out.
So says the Radal.
He didn't know about it. But didn't he ask what happened?
It could be, says Rav David Loria, that it could be they gave him 2 silver pieces for his share, and they just said, it's Hanukkah time. We decided we all got ourselves a brand new pair of shoes, and when we're walking down the street, we want everyone to have nachas from Yaakov's children. So here's a pair of shoes, and Reuven had no idea where these shoes came from.
Vayeishev is always red.
Yeah? Now, but Rabbi said, it says of Zalman Sorotzkin, it could be they bought a pair of shoes for Reuven also, because they told Reuven, look, we sold Yosef, and we sold him for 20 silver pieces, and each one of us bought a pair of shoes. They figured Reuven would be maskim. Why not? Reuven was the one who told them to throw him in the pit. Now, even though the Torah says that Reuven threw him into the pit, Laman Hatzil Oisai Miyadam, to save him, Rashi says, Ruach HaKodesh is saying that's why Reuven threw him into the pit. The brothers thought that Reuven suggested to throw him into the pit because Reuven wanted to kill him right away. So therefore, since the brothers thought that Reuven was maskim to the Mechira, that's why they bought Reuven a pair of shoes also. But Rabbi said what we see from here is that it appears that these pairs of shoes were a vital part of the Mechiras Yosef. It's not coincidental. It's not tangential. The fact that the Navi stresses they sold Yosef ba'avur na'aloyim, the fact that in the Eila Eskara, the Roman governor says he fills up his whole palace with shoes, the fact that they buy shoes for Reuven who wasn't even there, what is the role that these shoes play in Mechiras Yosef?
I'm troubled. How did the emperor know anything about this shoe business?
TorahAnytime. How did he know? This is a biblical narrative. A biblical narrative. I mean, this is it's in the Torah.
We've been discussing whether or not this the 10th pair of shoes.
How do you know? What, he learned Torah?
No, that's what we're asking. Why did they buy a pair of shoes? Yeah. Okay. Then another thing. After they sell Yosef, look at number 7, Perek Lamed Zayin, Pasuk Chafei, Vayishvu lechol lechem. They sit to eat bread.
Oh, why did they?
Why are they eating bread after they sell Yosef?
Hungry.
Sue's raw.
To make it a real.
Judas Havroy.
No, it has to be true to make it a real business. A real
Right?
What do you mean real business? They put them in the pit.
So they could take them
Not.
to
So for here,
Shiva.
first they buy shoes, then they eat bread. What's going on over here?
To make a
No.
Kenyan.
What kind of Kenyan?
First they ate.
What does bread have?
No,
There's no Kenyan of eating bread.
I think they were sitting Shiva.
No.
They didn't get the money.
No, they ate the bread
Later.
before they sold it.
But what are they eating bread for? Why didn't they have tuna fish? Okay. So Rabbi say, good guesses. But nice try. Yeah? Okay. So the first thing you have to know is that let's ask a question. Here we're dealing with the Shiftei Ka. We're dealing with the 12 Shvatim. We're dealing with people whose names are mentioned on the Choshen. Right? On the Choshen it says, you know what it says? It says the names of the Shvatim, Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, their names were not removed. Nowhere in the Torah are they punished for selling Yosef. How could they sell their brother? I mean, it's a capital offense. To kidnap someone and sell them is a capital offense. The answer is, the Pasuk says, look at number 8, Vayomer Ha'ish. The Malach, Gabriel, tells Yosef, Nasu mizeh. They traveled on from here. Ki shamati yoimrim, I heard they said, Neilcha doi saina. Let us go, Pashup Shat, to Doisan. Rashi says, in Mikra Yotzim Midei Pshute, they said, let's go to Doisan. However, Doisaina could also be read, Levakesh Lecha. They said, we're going to search Nichle Dasais, religious pretexts, Sheyam Yisuch Bahem, they could kill you. In other words, the brothers paskind that Yosef is Chayev Misa. This was not out of personal vendetta against Yosef. They paskind lahalacha that Yosef is chayev misa. Why did they paskin that? The Sforno writes on the words. Look in the next pasuk. Vayiru oisai meirachik. They saw him from far. Uveterim yikrav aleim before he approached. Vayisnaklu oisai lahamisai. Now the word vayisnaklu is a very unusual word. It's reflexive. It's his smile. Misnakel means conspired. But Vayisnaklu means they
conspired.
They considered him to be a conspirer. Vayisnaklu, they created conspiracy oisai on him. Which as Sforno learns to mean they paskind that he's a conspirer. That this whole business, that he's moitzi dibarel aviyam, the fact that he's tattling on them. If Yosef goes to Yaakov and he tattles on the brothers, that the brothers are eating Iver Menachai, and the brothers are fooling around with the shvachos, what could Yaakov do to the brothers? Yaakov could give them a klala. If Yaakov gives the brothers a klala, they would either drop dead or lose their chelik in Olam Haba. So if somebody comes and is trying to kill you or remove your share in the world to come, they're called a roidef. And not only they are roidef, you're not allowed to kill them, you're obligated to kill them. Vayisnaglu oisai lahamisai. They paskin that Yosef is chayiv misa. Not just, they felt that way. They convened a bezdin. And they paskind lahalacha that they erred. And this legal ruling has such binding that nowhere in the whole Torah were they punished, because ein ledayan elamash ein avroyas. A dayan who judges a case and makes a mistake is not punished for his conclusion, even if it was a wrong conclusion.
Didn't have achrayas to ask Yaakov if that's what they felt about the Basam Ra.
They felt Yaakov was Nagea B'davar.
They had the right.
They felt Yaakov was
his son.
They held Yaakov was impartial.
They are.
Okay, Rabbi, so let's see what the Sforno
They
says.
are Nogea B'davar themselves.
That's what you say, but that's not what they
How
said.
can a brother paskin?
That's how they felt. They felt he was right.
Let's see.
Wait a minute. How can brothers paskin something on her brother and be judged.
So they
Judge
said,
and-
it's not a problem.
And witness. How can you be a witness against your brother?
We don't have the same mother. He's from a different mother. Minat Torah.
Same part. No, Sanhedrin, it's the same.
B'nai Noach, it doesn't go. They're not kroivim. We're not kroivim.
Him.
No, they're not.
Based on
Not koydem
what I
atam
read
Torah.
on
It goes
this.
by. It goes by the mother. Says the Svarno.
Okay.
Vayisnaklu oisai lahamisai.
Just learned this.
Hine lashon nikel yoyra alam tzas lahara. The lashon of nakel is a lashon of finding evil. Kamay asher niklu lachem al devar pa'ar. Asher shechash amar. The Torah is saying, shechashvu es Yosef belibam. They felt about Yosef nuchal lahamis, that he's able to kill them. V'shaba aleim, and that he's coming to them. Lo lidroi shleimam. Yosef wasn't coming to see how they're doing. Ela limtzai aleim alila, to find a pretext against them, or to get them to sin, so that Yaakov should curse them, or God should punish them. And then Yosef would be the only one of the brothers to get any Yerusha, both physical and spiritual. The lashon hispael, the lashon of vayisnaklu, which is reflexive. Yoira, that implies, that reflects, al tziyur hadavar benefesh. Vayisnakel, they in their mind conjured up that Yosef was a conspirer. Kamay ata misnakish benafshi. Mitzayer bilvavcha, they pictured in your heart moikesh al nafshi. Says the Svarno, v'lashon lahamisai, the language of to kill him. That means they held he was conspiring to kill them. Rashi learns it means Vayisnaklu oisai lahamisai. They conspired to kill Yosef. The Svarno learns Vayisnaklu oisai. They held about him that he was conspiring lahamisai to kill the brothers.
It should have been Lahamisam.
Some, right.
Lahamisai, that he was going to kill. Lahamisai, sheyamas hu esachav. No, and we find many examples like that. La'asoischem oisam, la'avrecha beves. Says the Svarno, uvazeh hoidia. The Torah is telling us ma hoya lamai. What's going on over here? B'yos kulam tzadikim gemurim. You have 12 brothers. They're all complete tzadikim. Ad shahayu shemaisam lefnei Hashem lazikaron. That all their names are inscribed on the choshen as a remembrance, as their eternal merit. Eich noyadu lev yachtav. How could they conspire together la'aragas achiyam, to kill their brother olam achroi? And you should know, nowhere did the brothers ever regret selling him. Even as you'll see, look at number 11, when they were having a lot of tsaras in Mitzrayim. Vayomeru ishel achiv avol ashemim anachnu alachinu. Look what they said. We're guilty, not for selling him. Asher ra'inu tsaras nafshi. We saw how much pain he was in. When he pleaded to us, we didn't listen. You know what they regretted? Of course we needed to sell him. But when he was pleading for his life, at least our heart should have gone out to him, but we did it in like cold blood. We should have felt rachmanis to him. Nowhere did they ever regret. Why? Because a dayan who paskins can't regret what he did. That's ein l'dayan el mashein avroyas. Says the Svarno, they held lo yamru shatia. He said v'lo nichamu al ra. They never regretted it, even when they said aval hashemim anachnu. They didn't say their guilt is for selling him or for killing him, but for their cruelty. The Torah is saying, they imagined in their heart, and they considered Yosef able and ready to kill them, either b'olam hazeh in this world, or b'olam haba, or in the next world, Oy b'shneim, or in both. Ba'atayra amra haba lahargacha hashkem laharga. If someone's coming to kill you, so they didn't hold they were doing something wrong. They held they were doing a mitzvah. They held they were mechuyev to do so. So then asked the Shlach Kadosh. Then why were they punished? Look at number 13.
That was all in a Kaddish Baruch's plan. This was all B'dei Shemayim.
Okay, but no, but yeah, that's irrelevant to them. What were they thinking? What were they thinking? How? everything that happens is Rebbeinu Shalom's plan. Well, what were they thinking? Says the Shla, Ve'ein lahakshos.
Who's that go? Who's that go?
It's a footnote in the Shla. Ve'ein lahakshos. Lama nenshu hashvatim. Why are the shvatim punished? Me'achar shedanu b'din Torah. If they punished him according to the din Torah, Yesh Loimar, you could say, Da'al kayotze b'zeh tanan, about such a thing we learned in the Mishnah, Shigigas Talmud Oila Zadain. That if a dayan did not learn enough, and because of that he doesn't paskin correctly, erring and learning, you can imagine you have a rabbi. He says, "Yeah, I could paskin. I know Aleph Beis, so I could paskin Choshen Mishpat." And he made a mistake, right? Why? I'm a shul rabbi. Rabbis could paskin? You ever crack open Choshen Mishpat? No, but I'm a rabbi. I have smicha. So Chazal say that if someone did not learn enough, he can't say I'm a shoygeg. He's amazed. He's amazed. So therefore says the Shla, the sin of the brothers was that even though they paskined, but their level of learning was lacking, and therefore they didn't come to the right halacha. So the question is, Rabbi say, was Yosef a Roidev, or was he not a Roidev?
Depends upon
The brother, you have 9 brothers, 10 brothers maybe. They paskin Yosef was right. Did they paskin wrong, or did they paskin right?
Wrong.
They paskin wrong. Yeah. Was Yosef a Roidev, or was Yosef not a Roidev?
Evidence they had, it was a right. They looked at the evidence that it was a right.
He wasn't trying to kill them.
Was Yosef a Roidev, was he not? Did they paskin right or wrong?
Because he went to their father. Did complain to the father?
Did he go to the father and say?
Yeah, so that's for them. That's right.
Didn't
Didn't he go to the father and say they're eating Aver Menachai? And he was punished for that, for being Moitzi Diba.
But we said before, the Kavanah was not to kill them. He should destroy them. He didn't know his Kavanah. He thought that Kavanah was because he wanted to.
So what? If Yosef if they made a mistake, according to what they saw, it sure looked to me like Yosef.
Yeah.
Why would they not be allowed to suspect Yosef of being a Roidev?
They didn't learn enough. They didn't have the right in the...
So what were they lacking? Which halacha did they not know?
They should come to him, ask him, talk to him. Ask him what's
But they didn't want to kill him.
Listen to him.
So there's something very interesting.
Where was the Eidos and the Hasra?
The Bar Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Salant, suggests an amazing pshat. They did not paskin wrong. They got the correct psak. Had a Bezdin looked at what was going on, Yosef Bezdin would have paskined, possibly he says, that Yosef was a Roidev. So what did the brothers do wrong? What's the halacha? If someone does an Avera, and they're a Rasha, and the Torah says you're allowed to hate a Rasha. Let's put that aside for a minute. There is a halacha that you're not allowed to judge someone who you hate. Right? Halacha. What's the definition of someone who you hate? Who's someone you hate? Someone you haven't spoken to for 3 days. Now the Torah says, "V'lo yachlu l'dabroi l'shalom." They couldn't really speak to Yosef in peace. They didn't like him. Vayisnu Yosef. So someone came to the Chavos Yair. Look at number 16. Very interesting tshuva. In the Pischei tshuva. Ayin b'tshuvas Chavos Yair b'soif hasefer. If you look at the end of the Chavos Yair, at the end of the sefer, b'hashmatos, shekasav ma'isa haya. The story went like this: She'echad lava mimeni. Someone borrowed money from me, says the Chavos Yair. V'to'an al miktasan shapar. He claimed he paid back, and he really didn't, and he swore falsely. V'nishba l'sheker. A year later, v'yachar shana, a year later, balafanai b'din. He came before me that I should judge one of his cases. V'lo ratzisi l'tapel b'dinai. I did not want to get involved. Lav mishum demot l'snoisai. Not because the halacha is, since he swore falsely, he's a Rasha, and I'm allowed to hate him, and someone who you hate, you're not a judge. Because it's not true that someone you hate, you're not a judge. Let's say it's tzaddik and a Rasha appear in din. So then nobody could judge the case because you're allowed to hate the Rasha. How could anybody ever judge a case between a tzaddik and a Rasha? You're allowed to hate a Rasha. So you're allowed to hate a Rasha, how could any Bezdin judge the case? The answer is there's no halacha, you're not allowed to judge a case if you hate one of the parties. Because if the reason why I hate this person is because he's a rasha and halacha, I'm allowed to hate him, that has no bearing on the case at hand. I hate him, but the case at hand, I'll be able to look at it objectively. So ask the Chavos Yair, so why wasn't I able to judge this case of the guy who borrowed money from me and swore falsely, and he did an Aveira, and now he's coming to me for me to be the dayan? Why am I now allowed to judge that case? Because this guy, I hate him, because what he did to me, it's personal. And when it's personal sinna, that disqualifies you from judging. If the reason you hate him is because he did an Aveira in some other situation, has no bearing on relevance to you, you don't become disqualified. You're able to overcome your sinna to him, your halachic sinna, and you can judge. But if it's a personal sinna, then you're not to judge him. That's the chiddush of the Chavos Yair. The brothers made one tiny error. The brothers did not make a mistake in the din. Was Yosef a roidev? It sure seemed like it. But they made a mistake. They thought, halachically, are we allowed to hate Yosef? Yes. Oh, so if halachically we're allowed to hate Yosef, then we could be the dayanim on this case. But their mistake was, they're allowed to hate Yosef, but here Yosef did something to them. It's personal. They can't judge the case. Yeah. This is halacha in the Chavos Yair. Chavos Yair paskins, there's a difference between hating somebody because of an aveira they did in the Welt Arain or an aveira they did to you. So the pasuk is saying the mistake of the brothers, it was a halachic error. Did they come to was there a mistake in the psak? The psak was correct. The psak was correct. It was a true psak. But they weren't allowed to be the dayanim on the case. Why were they not? Because v'loy yach vayiru echav ki oisai ahav avihem mikol echav vayisnu oisai. They hated him. V'loy yachlu dabrei l'sham. They couldn't speak to him. It was personal. They now become disqualified to be the dayanim on the case.
They never learned the Chavos Yair.
They didn't. But shigagas Talmud oila zadayim. It's halacha and choshen mishpat. Apparently the Shlosh is saying, had they delved into the halacha enough, they would have reached the correct halacha conclusion that this type of personal sinner would disqualify someone to be a dayan.
Yosef had tzaddik. How could he be conspiring to kill his brothers? Does that contradict the fact that he was a tzaddik?
Today's Shiur we're explaining how the brothers could try to kill him. Now you want to know how Yosef was.
No, but they wanted to kill him because they thought he wanted to kill them.
Right.
That's what he did.
No, I know his answer.
He was a tzaddik.
He was only 7 years old.
He wanted to know how Yosef, if it was the right psak, how could...
17 years.
After Potiphar came Yosef tzaddik, not at that time.
The Shlach Kadosh says that Yosef didn't have any intention of ruling over them, and he says a whole explanation what the kavanah of Yosef was that we once discussed a long time ago.
There's a measure that Yosef absorbed all of the Torah that Yaakov taught him. He was very well steeped. He knew more than the brothers, so he could never have come to the conclusion of being able to kill them.
Yeah, okay.
What about the shoes?
So we gotta come back. Rabbi Say, the halacha is that when you're judging a case, you have to be memayit ba'achila. You have to diminish your eating. So after the brothers finished paskening, Vayeishev lechal lechem, they had to eat. They hadn't eaten in a long time. They were schwitzing, they were harving, and how to pasken the case. As soon as the psak was over, now they become mutter ba'achila. Says the Rav Zalman Sorotzkin, look at number 17. Sanhedrin, hadanim dinei nefashos, mimatin mimaychal, they have to diminish eating. V'chozman shashvatim danu as Yosef, so long as the shvatim were judging Yosef, lo yachlu, they didn't eat. Umi kivan shekiblu atzas Ruvain, once they accepted the suggestion of the dayan, lahashlicha labar, rak oz yashvu lechal, then they sat to eat. Okay, you ready for the grand finale? Hold on to your shoes. Yeah, very good. That is one of my favorite topics, right? Why do they buy a pair of shoes? The answer is, normally, when a relative dies, you have to be ba'avelos. And you have to do what? Remove your shoes. But when someone is killed with capital punishment, is there avelos? There's no avelos. Do you take off your shoes? You keep your shoes on.
Joseph wasn't killed.
The brothers wanted to show that this Misa was not a personal vendetta against Yosef. It was a psak bezdin. So they bedavka went and used the money to buy a pair of shoes to show, to demonstrate that this was not ritzicha, this was not kol blood murder, this was psak bezdin. And therefore they davka put on shoes to demonstrate there's no avelus over here. Says Rav Zalman Sarat, look at number 18. Ulai ramzu b'zeh. Maybe there's a remez here. Kiaf pisha aval asabinios sandal. Even though a mourner is not to wear shoes, behem haloik farnes yashim achim mechayav. They already gave up hope on their brother because the Egyptians, they hate Jews, especially an Abed Ivri, especially a little kid, especially an observant Jew. What's his chance? Really, they should have been mourning for him. For his spiritual danger. V'karav levadai, gama gufnias, and very likely even physically. Aval al haruge bezdin, but someone who's killed by bezdin, ein hakroivim misaplin. Relatives do not sit ba'avelas. Behem chashvu, they thought sha'asu hakol al pidin, they thought their psak was correct. Umamela no'alu kulam na'alayim laharas, they all put on shoes to show she'ein alayim din avelas. And b'chlal, normally you take off shoes as a sign of tsar. And the brothers showed that they put on shoes to show they're not b'tsar, but this is the halacha lemaisa. Says of Zalman Saratskin.
If they were right,
okay, I'm going to tell you something.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.